Hello.
Hello, once again.
Yes.
Once again. And how many days is it till Christmas?
Oh, God knows. I was actually just putting a T-shirt together before I came out that said, "How many shopping days till it's not Christmas?"
Love it.
It's not that I'm actually against Christmas per se.
No.
There's just quite a lot of really negative things about it that largely come down to this sort of
over-commercialisation.
obsessive commercialisation of it.
So terrible.
And I can almost hear sort of like some sort of spokesman from the Confederation of British Industry, that's the one, the CBI, sort of saying, well, yeah, loads of traders, loads of businesses actually make a very large proportion of their income at Christmas, and therefore, if we actually tried to, as it were, change the commercialisation of Christmas, then lots of people would lose their jobs, which I think is bollocks. I think
people need to, be able to adapt and find other ways of spreading their, the things of interest and value that they have to sell, so that they have things of interest and value and usefulness throughout the year. Because, considering we have all of this information about, how our oceans are being ruined and the environment is being ruined by plastic. Do you think the amount of the rubbish goods that are available almost exclusively for Christmas are going to end up in the ocean, polluting it?
Yes.
Now, I would love to know how many people would like to claim that they were environmentalist and actually wanted to save the ocean, and actually what action they will take this Christmas to actually protect the oceans. Now, there's a good starting point for actually getting people to change their behaviours.
Well, I think a good starting point, I think that's very important, and I'm going to come on to that in a short while, but I think a good starting point is actually try to make sure that your Christmas is authentic.
Yes.
I'm not religious, but when I say authentic, what I mean is that you actually use it as a time to be with people
that you want to be with.
That you want to be with, that you
and
love or love you.
that you want to do.
Exactly, and try to ensure that it's not forced.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're not.
Did you know that the murder and suicide statistics are actually highest at Christmas and New Year? And when you consider the number of people, our families very often, sadly, have become so fragmented because of the nature of the way that really the economic world has divided up families. People have had to travel for work and things like that. And that may have its good points, and maybe some of the reasons that people have chosen to, separate and fragment as families is the excuse is partly down to earning, but actually maybe the reason may be that they needed to separate off from their families, and then the idea that you're then forced to come back to these people that you've almost chosen to separate from in order to have this mythologically glorious, happy family time, I'm sure drives many people into the depths of depression, let alone death.
Yes, it certainly does do that. Even for people who are good time people, I think that Christmas can be very depressing. And I think there are two things. I think that this pressure to buy presents that the other person doesn't want, and you're buying this for someone you don't especially like.
Now, I think,
and the product has no particular use. I think is one of the.
What about fun? But the sad thing is that some of the fun gifts end up in the ocean eventually because most of them are plastic. But do you?
I have something I can show you on that front because so this is a.
Is this an example?
This is an example of the sort of thing I'm talking about. In that, I'm not getting.
But you hung on to this. Now, this is the thing that really also interests me. It's something that you truly didn't want.
That is a different issue. Okay.
But you hung on to it for the best part of a year.
Well, no, it wasn't so much that I hung on to it.
At least it didn't end up in the ocean.
I forgot about it. Okay. but so this was a previous partner. And we agreed before Christmas that we weren't going to get Christmas presents for each other.
Yes.
And I thought this was quite a good idea because we neither of us had a great deal of money.
Yes.
And I agreed with her sentiment that just being together was present enough. And of course, being a bloke, I stupidly accepted what she was saying as being true. When Christmas Day arrived, I got presents like this.
Go on, show me.
I got alcohol.
You
she
got
got
alcohol,
presents,
okay.
and
oh God!
so this is a collection.
Oh, go on, come on. Can we wear one?
Of manly moustaches. Okay.
Well, obviously you're not manly enough.
Well, thank you, Clara. But it's like...
Now, which one takes your fancy? I think actually you should go for that one.
What, the banker?
That would actually be really, really appropriate. And you should wear it with some of your T-shirts.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I do, actually. I really, really, really do.
Or perhaps T-shirts with a moustache and the character underneath.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a mystery if you had that as a shape on your T-shirt with the banker underneath.
Yes.
But anyway, this seemed to me to be completely characteristic of this pressure to buy presents. And I'm not having a go at her, okay?
No.
But I think that this is completely ingrained in people, that they feel they have to get something, no matter how... I mean, I can't imagine in a million billion years ever asking for this sort of thing as a Christmas present or as a token of someone's love. I would much rather share a beer or a bottle of wine or just a time together.
Yes.
Because I think it's more genuine.
Oh, yes.
It's more authentic.
Well, and it is interesting because very few... Well, I mean, it's interesting that you forgot somehow or other that you had this. But obviously not totally forgotten, because you remembered in order to...
I only remembered when we because I just thought Christmas would be quite a good subject to talk about.
Yes, well, indeed.
And that's when I remembered this. Did you want to put one on? Because I think...
Which one do you think I should wear?
Well... Either the biker or the snob. No, the villain, sorry.
I think
That's the villain.
Yeah,
you want the villain?
I want the villain.
Okay, well, we're going to give you the villain.
We'll wear it into the Belgian bar as well.
Of course, the other thing is, because it's a combination of card and plastic, I'm
going to
need an oxyacetylene torch just to open it.
Yeah. No, I remember last year actually doing a radio programme about Christmas, and because Christmas, I remember hearing, I mean, it's been a source of discomfort for quite a number of years, and so because there are bits of it that I love, and yes, I love, having a lovely time. I don't know how this is supposed to.
You take the backing off.
I'm supposed to. Yeah, I know, but I'm struggling here. I think.
Well, I'm assuming that's what you do. Oh, it's too old. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this away before it lands in the ocean.
Yeah, because you don't want to do that.
But particularly after what you've said, because I don't want you to be angry.
No.
You wouldn't like Clara when she's saying that's class. That is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think having these. This is.
Yours isn't going to stick so well. Oh, you've got a white one to go. It won't.
To go with my hair. Yeah, it's the Casanova. That's me.
Yeah, it won't stick.
But it won't stick because I've obviously got hair underneath.
Yes. And mine...
Unlike the area underneath your nose, which is as smooth as a baby's bottom.
Indeed, absolutely.
I'm going to have to... Anyway, you were saying...
So in complete stylishness. No, anyway, I remember years ago, because actually... When I was married, my then husband really was no fan of Christmas, and I mean neither of us were, because we both really loathed the commercialism of it.
Do you know what? I can take you much more seriously now you've got that moustache on.
Yes, indeed. And anyway, we met this chap walking his dog, who was telling us this tale of when he had gone away the previous year to escape Christmas, and it's been one of my dreams to go. I would love to spend Christmas in a place where they don't celebrate Christmas, but then I would be happy to celebrate it with friends and mates and family and stuff like that. Well, those that I love. Sorry, that's a bit pointed, really, isn't it? So my son and Gary and stuff. So anyway, because then you could have fun, because you're not being expected to experience Christmas. So anyway, this chap had gone some Muslim country, I believe, and it turns up in this hotel, some far-flung country in the world, and they put on Christmas, especially for their Western guests.
Oh, so excellent!
So he didn't escape it at all.
And I bet it was a really classy version of Christmas as well.
So.
Was there lots of plastic on show?
I don't know. I really don't know, because this was a number of years ago. But it was so reassuring to actually be able to see people or meet people and have these discussions, because I can remember I lived in Peckham, and you'd see this couple. I remember seeing this couple, and you could tell this was Christmas Eve, and you could tell from them the way they were dressed and the expression on their face that really they barely had a penny to rub together. But on Christmas Eve they'd sort of decided, oh my God, we've got to do Christmas, and their trolley was just filled with a Christmas tree and crackers and stuff, and you could see the angst on their faces.
Yes.
And it was so sad.
So
sad, because you could tell that was all the money that they had.
Yes.
And they'd spent it for one day, which would mean that they would be cross with their children and all the rest of it, because they'd spent this money on rubbish for Christmas, which their kids weren't going to be really appreciating for more than 2 minutes. And they were going to hate it, and it's just such a shame.
I like the idea
sad.
of going to one of the Catholic countries, Italy, perhaps France, or especially Spain.
Okay.
Where I think that if you actually go to a village or a suburb of one of the major cities, and I don't know this, that actually you will have more of a communal, or actually you could actually enjoy a more sort of solitary Christmas, not surrounded by all the tacky accoutrements that we have in this country.
Absolutely. So anyway, we're going to be focusing, aren't we, on other people's their ideal ways of spending Christmas, how they feel obliged to spend Christmas, and what they do to make Christmas fun.
Indeed, just as long as you wear that moustache.